when you're bidding on jobs and you know that things can swing so quickly, so dramatically, like, how are you accommodating that? How are you baking that into your proposals and stuff?
Yeah. So totally case by case, again, looking at the risk of whether there's going to be product that's going to be tariffed for sure, or if there's another way to get a different building system that's not going to be tariffed, or looking at the timeline, like some projects, the permitting process is quite onerous. So if you're looking at 6 months or more for site plan approval and then building permit on top of that, and so probably this isn't even going to happen in 2026. Well, you could look at the project differently, and then you're also buying some time in there that you don't have to make a commitment on purchasing the pre-eng building if that's what you're going with, because that decision doesn't need to be made until you're closer to getting a building permit. So there's totally case by case, I would say, is the best way to look at it. And I don't know if we're making the right decision sometimes, but if
The
you do,
ones you have to make, right? Like, it's probably uncomfortable.
you try to do the best of the information that's at hand, right? And as they say, if you don't make a decision, you've made a decision, right? You've left yourself. So you've got to just take your best stab out based on the information at hand. And then if things change, then you have to change. You have to pivot it again. So
Yeah, I mean, are you going back and forth with contracts a lot with, like, your lawyers and legal team to, like, you're always constantly updating your contracts right now, or how does that look?
no, so I mean, there is probably very similar to your AIA contracts. We have Canadian construction documents. They're written by the professional engineers and architects in consultation with customers or, the end users like us. Sorry, our clients, the end user. And those contracts have been developed and they cover most everything. Sometimes there is a little bit of a struggle with the interpretation on what tariffs are of tax. So the contracts actually do say that tariffs or any new taxes are not included in the when you sign the contract. So if there's a new tax comes in place, it's on the owner. So theoretically, it's all covered in terms of tariffs, but there's still that push and pull from the other side saying, well, we don't think a tariff is a tax. Well, then we have to go to court with it. But we haven't gotten that far. So we've been able to resolve things amicably on everything to date. So all good.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to absorb that,
No,
that volatility, right? It's not
yeah,
like you're a relationship guy, right? Like, I mean, you're in commercial construction, that's
for sure.
relationship,
Yeah,
driven as well, right? So,
right.
it's not like, I'm sure you have the same people that you work with over and over and over.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it's 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 in the news so much that it's not like it's something a big surprise to somebody like they didn't know about tariffs. Well, what's a tariff?
Yeah,
Everybody knows what
exactly.
tariff is now, right? So everybody's tired of talking about tariffs. Yeah.
You build up to it, like, when they release the news, like, if you've been, convalescing it for, the period of time beforehand, and
Yeah.
then they release it on you, and then everyone's like, "Oh, no, why? God, why?" Because it hurts everybody, and like you said, it's not just the physical price of steel, it's everything that goes around it, all the
For
steel,
sure.
that has to do with steel, Everything goes up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you said, I mean, dramatically, it's been slowing down your projects, right, in your pipeline?
We're still really busy. But we've had to kind of change, what we would normally do as a bottler building, and we've had to find some other way to keep the project moving forward. We do have a client that has two projects that he is just decided he's not well for two reasons. He's trying to avoid the tariffs. He wants to use Butler, but he's also a lot of his business is in residential. And residential's slow here right now. It's a very soft market. Housing housing starts to way down. So you don't have a big push right now for products. So he's building materials and trusses, wood trusses. So he's looking at those projects for next year, basically. So because all things are cyclical, been around long enough, housing slows down and then stays down for a few years and then picks up again, and it's boom time again.